Welcome back to the English Spectrum, your cozy place to learn easy English through real-life conversations. I'm Lisa.
And I'm Tom. Elisa, can I say something slightly dramatic before we start?
I feel like the answer is no, Tom, but I know you're going to say it anyway.
Fair. I was just thinking, should people quit their job or just quit complaining about it?
Oof. That one hits close to home for a lot of people, doesn't it?
Exactly. Because every Monday morning, millions of people have the same quiet thought. I can't do this anymore. But then they go anyway.
Right. And that gap between what you feel and what you actually do, that's where this whole conversation lives.
Yes. And the answer is never simple. Because quitting sounds brave, but so does staying and being responsible.
And complaining sounds annoying. But sometimes complaining is just honesty that hasn't found a solution yet.
Oof, that's a good point. So today, we're talking about jobs, frustration, fear, responsibility, and that uncomfortable question, am I in the wrong place, or am I just tired in a normal way?
Yes, and we're doing all of that in B2 level English, so the language may be a little richer, but it will still feel natural and clear. So don't worry if you don't catch every word. Just stay with us, follow the feeling, and let your English grow naturally.
Later in the episode, we'll have our word tour, where we explain useful words and expressions from the day's conversation.
Yes, and if you enjoy learning through honest, meaningful conversations like this, please subscribe to the English Spectrum.
And tell us in the comments, have you ever felt stuck in a job? What did you do? Stay or leave? We'd love to hear your story.
All right, let's begin, Tom. I think almost every working person has asked themselves this question at least once.
Oh, definitely. And usually on a Sunday evening, when the weight of Monday is already sitting on your chest.
Yes, that heavy feeling. And the first voice says, life is too short. Quit. Go do something that matters. But then a second voice says, don't be dramatic. You have bills. Everyone feels this way.
Exactly. And that second voice sounds so reasonable. It sounds like maturity.
But sometimes maturity is just fear wearing a tie and carrying a briefcase.
Oof, that's a powerful image. So, how do we tell the difference? How do we know if we genuinely need to leave, or if we just need to change our attitude?
That is the million-dollar question. And honestly, most people don't want to ask it honestly, because the answer might force them to do something uncomfortable.
Right. Because if the problem is a job, you might need to quit. And quitting is terrifying. But if the problem is your mindset, you might need to change. And changing yourself is also terrifying.
Yes. Either way, something hard is waiting for you. So many people choose a third option, stay and complain forever.
That's the gray zone, isn't it? You're not happy, but you're not desperate enough to leave. So you just exist there, and every day feels slightly heavy.
And that's where a word we used in our last episode comes back, apprehension. That quiet fear of what might happen if you make a move.
Yes, apprehension says, what if you quit and the next job is worse? What if you can't find another job? What if you're actually the problem?
And those questions are not silly. Some of them are very real. But here's the harder question. Are those fears protecting you or paralyzing you?
Oof, that's the line. Protection keeps you safe. Paralysis keeps you stuck. And sometimes they look exactly the same from the outside.
Exactly. So let's break this down. I think there's a difference between healthy complaining and toxic complaining.
What do you mean?
Healthy complaining is honest. You say, this isn't working for me. I feel overworked. I feel undervalued. And then you use that honesty to make a plan. Toxic complaining is just repeating the same pain every day without any intention to change.
So one is a signal and the other is just noise.
Yes. A signal asks, what should I do next? Noise just asks, can someone please feel sorry for me?
That's a little harsh, but I get it. So before someone quits, they need to ask, am I listening to a signal or am I just making noise?
Exactly. And that takes self-reflection, which is hard, because self-reflection might tell you something you don't want to hear.
Like what?
Like, maybe the job isn't terrible. Maybe you've just stopped growing. Or, maybe you're burned out, but quitting won't fix burnout if you don't rest first. Or the hardest one, maybe you're the one bringing the negativity with you.
Oof. That last one stings. Because it's easier to blame the job than to look in the mirror.
Yes, and I'm not saying every job is good. Some jobs are genuinely toxic, exploitative, or soul-crushing. Those jobs deserve to be left. But some jobs are just normal. And normal can feel disappointing when you expected passion every single day.
That's such an important point. Social media has convinced a lot of people that if you're not crying tears of joy on your way to work, you're wasting your life.
Right. But real life isn't a montage. Some days are boring. Some days are hard. Some days you just do your work and come home. And that's not failure. That's being an adult.
So where's the line between accepting normal struggles and settling for less than you deserve?
That's the real question. And I think the answer lives in how you feel most of the time. Not every day, but most days.
Can you explain that?
Sure. Every job has bad days. Every job has boring meetings and frustrating emails. That's normal. But if you feel heavy, empty, or resentful most days, that's not normal. That's a signal.
So it's about patterns, not moments.
Exactly. One bad week is a bad week. 3 bad years is a sign.
Okay, so let's say someone realizes, okay, this job really isn't for me. What now? Do they quit tomorrow?
No. And this is where our concept of restraint comes back. Restraint isn't weakness. Sometimes restraint is wisdom.
Right? We talked about that last time. Restraint means controlling yourself and not acting just because you feel emotional.
Yes, because quitting in anger or exhaustion is not courage. It's reaction. And reactions often lead to messy outcomes.
So what should someone do instead?
They should work toward an exit. Slowly, carefully, with a plan. Update your resume. Save some money. Look at job listings without pressure. Talk to people in other fields. Learn a new skill in small pockets of time.
That sounds so much less dramatic than the movies.
Yes, and that's why it works. Dramatic quitting feels good for about 3 days. Then reality hits. Practical quitting takes longer, but it leads to better results.
So you're not saying don't quit. You're saying quit with intention, not impulse.
Exactly. Don't abandon yourself by staying somewhere that's destroying you. But also don't abandon yourself by jumping off a cliff without checking if there's water below.
That's a good way to put it. So what about the other side? What if someone realizes a job is fine, but they're the one who needs a change?
That's harder in some ways, because there's no external enemy. You can't blame the boss or the company. You have to look inward.
And that's uncomfortable.
Very uncomfortable, but also freeing. Because if you're the problem, then you're also the solution.
So what does that look like? Changing your attitude without lying to yourself.
It looks like asking, what can I control here? I can't control my boss's personality, but I can control my response. I can't control the company's culture overnight, but I can control how much energy I give to complaining versus problem solving.
That sounds like acceptance, but not passive acceptance, active acceptance.
Yes, acceptance that says, this is where I am right now. It's not perfect, but while I'm here, I will protect my peace. I will do good work. I will learn what I can. And I will quietly prepare for what's next.
That's beautiful. And it brings us back to that word, loyalty. Not loyalty to the company, but loyalty to yourself.
Yes, staying loyal to yourself means not letting a job you don't love turn you into someone you don't like. It means refusing to become bitter, cynical, or small, even if your environment is not ideal.
Oof, that's powerful. Because a bad job can steal more than your time. It can steal your spirit if you let it.
Exactly. And that's the real loss. Not the money, not the missed promotion, but waking up one day and realizing you've become someone who complains about everything and changes nothing.
So let me try to summarize what we've said. Step 1, be honest. Is the job actually terrible, or am I just tired in a normal way?
Yes. Step 2, check your patterns. Is this a bad week or a bad life?
Step 3, if the job is truly wrong, don't quit impulsively. Work toward an exit with a plan.
Step 4, if the job is okay but your mindset is the problem, practice restraint. Change what you can control. Protect your inner peace.
And step 5, stay loyal to yourself. Don't let a temporary situation turn into a permanent identity.
Yes, that's it. That's the mature version of the question. Not quit or complain, but how do I stay true to myself while navigating a reality that isn't perfect?
And that's a question we can all carry with us. Not just about jobs, about everything.
Okay, now let's slow down and look at some useful words from today's conversation.
First word, apprehension. We used it earlier. Apprehension means a quiet feeling of fear or worry about what might happen. Example, his apprehension about quitting kept him stuck for 2 years. Or, apprehension is not always bad. Sometimes it just means you're being careful. Repeat, apprehension.
Next, restraint. Restraint means controlling yourself and not acting too quickly, especially when emotions are strong. Example, she showed restraint by saving money for 6 months before leaving her job. Or, restraint is not weakness. Sometimes it's the most mature form of courage. Repeat, restraint.
Next, self-reflection. Self-reflection means seriously thinking about your own feelings, actions, and motivations. Example, honest self-reflection helped him realize he wasn't unhappy with the job, just bored. Or, self-reflection is uncomfortable, but it saves you from making decisions you'll regret. Repeat, self-reflection.
Next, signal. In this context, a signal is a sign that tells you something important about your situation. Example, feeling heavy every morning is a signal, not something to ignore. Or, learning to read your own emotional signals is a life skill. Repeat, signal.
Next, toxic. Toxic describes an environment that is very negative, harmful, or damaging to your mental health. Example, some workplaces are genuinely toxic, and no amount of positive thinking will fix that. Or, leaving a toxic job is not failure. It's self-respect. Repeat, toxic.
Next, work toward. A phrasal verb meaning to make slow, steady progress toward a goal. Example, he is working toward a career change by taking 1 online course every month. Or, you don't have to arrive tomorrow. Just work toward it consistently. Repeat, work toward.
Next, loyalty to yourself. A phrase meaning staying true to your own values, needs, and dreams, even when external pressure says otherwise. Example, loyalty to yourself means not becoming bitter just because your job is boring. Or, sometimes loyalty to yourself is quieter than loyalty to a company, but it matters more. Repeat, loyalty to yourself.
And finally, impulse. An impulse is a sudden, strong feeling that makes you want to act immediately without thinking. Example, quitting on impulse felt good for 1 day. Then the regret came. Or, learn to pause between impulse and action. That pause changes everything. Repeat, impulse.
Those were today's word tour words and phrases.
And together, they help us talk about work, frustration, courage, and staying honest with ourselves.
Because the goal is not to never struggle. The goal is to struggle with awareness.
That's beautiful. So here's where we leave it today. Not with a dramatic answer, just with a quieter question. Are you in the wrong place? Or are you just tired in a way that needs rest, not revolution?
And whatever your answer is, be kind to yourself. You don't have to have it all figured out by tomorrow.
This is Elisa.
And this is Tom.
And you've been listening to the English Spectrum. Bye!